So for the week one or the um, journal one entry, I did question 3 from the week three slideshow on D2L. I used this question and I used a traditional algorithm as well as a, um, a traditional algorithm as well as uh, thousands blocks for manipulatives, and then the Dutch division method. So I'll start with my thinking with the traditional algorithm. So the question is, Hannah is able to type 40 words per minute. How long would it take her to type 12,500 words? Answer in hours, minutes, seconds. So the traditional method, I started over here with long division. I did 40. So 40 words per minute divided by 12,500 words altogether. I broke it down as I wanted to see how many times 40 can go into the first three 125, and then went into it 3 times. So 3 times 40 is 120, and the remainder of that is 50. So how much times 50? 40 can go into 50. 40 can go into 50 once. 1 times 40 is 40. 50 times 50 minus 40 is 10. We carry down the 0 all the way to make that 100. So how many times does 40 go into 100? 40 goes into 100 twice. So 40 times 2 is 80. 100 minus 80 is 20. And then we carry down the 0 to make that 200. So how many times does 40 go into 200? 40 goes into 200 5 times. So because it's after the last the ones column, we'll put a decimal, and we'll make that decimal point. So we'll put that decimal 5, and then we'll do and we'll prove that by 40 times 5 is 200. 200 minus 200 is 0. So it flattens out at that. So for that, it would equate to 12.5 minutes, or 312 minutes and 30 seconds. Trying to determine the hours, I took 60 minutes. 60 minutes equates to 1 hour, and I divide that by 312.5 minutes that she was able to type the total amount of words. So I used traditional algorithm again. I took 60 minutes, and I divided it and wanted to see how many times 60 goes into 312.5, and that goes 5 times. 60 times 5 is 300. So we did 312.5 minus 300, and that equates to 312.5 minus 300 equates to 12. We want to carry down the 5, so then we get 125. So for this part, we want to see how much 60 can go into 125, and that equates to twice. 60 times 2 equals 120. 125 minus 120 is 5. I stopped there because it would have gotten, I just stopped there to make it easy. So 5.2 hours also equates to, so our total is 5.2 hours. 5.2 hours also equates to 5 hours and 12 minutes and, sorry, I put 5 hours and 13 minutes there, but it's actually 5 hours and 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Sorry about that. So to find out the number of seconds, we use multiplication. So we took 312 and we times that by 60. I took out the 0.5 because that equates to 30 seconds. So I wanted to just make it easier to multiply. So I found I did 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 6 is 12, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 6 is 60, 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 6 is 18. So the total equates to 18,720, and then we plus our 30 seconds. That equates to a total of 18,750 seconds. So therefore, using the traditional algorithm, Hannah types 12,500 words in 312.5 minutes, or 5 hours and 13 minutes, or 5 hours and 12 minutes and 30 seconds, 5 hours, 12 minutes and 30 seconds, or 18,750 seconds. So the second method we used is a manipulative with blocks. These larger blocks, they equate to thousands. I didn't want to write out each singular dot, so I just made them 1,000 blocks. So we're trying to find out how many times 40 goes into 12,500, or how many times 40 goes into 12,500 times 0.1. We're minusing, we're moving the decimal point 1 to, the idea was, because we're taking what we're making this into 4, we'll eventually have to change this into, we'll eventually have to multiply by 0.1. So I wrote it down kind of like this, thought it was kind of neat. I wrote down all the blocks. We got 12,000 plus 0.5 thousand, or 500, and then we divide that by 4. Because we're doing by 4, I thought that'd be a lot easier than doing by 40. I'm going to cut each block into 4 sections. I'm going to take a section of the block out for each of the 12 plus the 0.5. Because we're doing thousands, 4 divided by 1,000 is 250, and 4 divided by 500 is 125. So by adding up each block, we have 12.4s of 12 quarters of a thousandth. We add them up, that equals 3. So that goes 3 full ones, and then so that equals 3 full ones, or 3,000. Well, 3 groups of 4 altogether, which equal 3,000. And then we add that to 125, because we're taking a quarter of 500. So here I wrote down 3,000 plus 125 equals 3,125. Then we times that by 0.1, because we took away a 0. Now we had to add a 0, or we added a, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm moving a decimal point over to the left. And that will equal 3,1205. Therefore, it took Hannah 3,125 times 0.1 equals 312.5. Therefore, it took Hannah 312.5 minutes to type 12,500 words. And because I didn't do the full, the full breakdown of the hours and seconds and days for this one, I will, I will use the Dutch division method or the reduction method to figure out the other one. So for Dutch method, we took, similar to the long division traditional algorithm, we took 40. We have 40 words per minute, and we want to divide that by 12,500. When I was looking at a YouTube video, it said this is also called the sevens method because it's a big 7. So first we look at, we want to see how many, we take 40 and we times it by 100 equals 4,000. And we'll see how many times 4,000 goes into 12,500. So how many times are we able to minus it? So we go once, twice, 3 times. So after 3 times, we're up to 500. So we add 1, 2, 3, that's 300. So we put 3 in the hundreds column. Next, we see how many times, so we take 40 times 10 equals 400. So we want to see how many times 400 goes into 500. So it goes once, so we're only able to minus once. So that's 1/10s we used. So we only use 1/10, so 1/10 goes into the tens column. And then we have ones. So 40 times 1 is 40. So because 500 minus 400 is 100, we want to see how many times we can minus 40 from 100. So we go once, twice, and that leaves us with 20. So because we were able to do twice, we put 2 ones in the ones column. And finally, we take 40 times 0.5, and that equates to 20. 20 minus 20 equals 0. So because we used 1.5, we put that at the decimal in the 0.5 in the decimal 1 section. So our total for minutes to type. So it took Hannah 312.5 minutes, or 312 minutes and 30 seconds to type 12,500 words. We can also break this down using same method. We can take 60 minutes and see how many times 60 minutes goes in 312.5 minutes to determine how many hours she took. So with the same method, we found out that 60 times 5 equals 300. So how many times, so 300 is able to go into 312.5. 312.5 minus 300 is 12.5. With that, we want to see, we use 60 times 0.1. That equates to 6. So 12.5 minus 6 is 6.5. And then 6.5. Then 6.5 minus 6 equals 0.5. So we use 2 0.1s to go into the 0.1 column. So 5.2 is the answer. So this equates to 5.2 hours, or 5 hours and 60 minutes times 0.2, which equates to 12.5. So 5 hours, 12 minutes, and 30 seconds. I didn't use the seconds. It's the seconds. In order to find seconds for this, we just use the traditional algorithm. So to find seconds, we do 312.5 times 60, and that would give us our seconds, which would be 18,750. Everything was under a day, so I can also write it took less than 1 day. Yeah, so that's it for my journal. I will be sending these pieces of paper to you, but thank you for listening.